Hey everyone, Rev Rush here. Just doing a few quick battles here on Pokemon Showdown. It's been a little while since I tried out some of the other teams, so instead of the Dance of Shower teams, I'm going to try out some of the other teams. I'm mainly focused on the Parasong Trap team this time, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm on the bottom left-hand corner as Rev Rush. So I'm going to send out my Weavile and my Hydreigon against their Ditto and their Togekiss. Ditto has a cool imposter ability, so it automatically transforms into something. His Togekiss does use Follow Me, which is kind of annoying, and his Hydreigon gets the first hit off on me because I believe it is Choice Scarf, which will come into play later. While I go for an Icicle Crash, which should have hit the Hydreigon, but it actually hit the Togekiss and took it out one hit, which is what I wanted to do actually. So now we have the Ditto that's stuck in its move, and versus an Archeops, and now a Volcarona versus my Weavile and Gardevoir. I use Icicle Crash, and Archeops, you know, it's a pretty good Pokemon, but 4 times weakness to Ice. While Hyper Voice does a little bit of damage to Volcarona. The Ditto, unfortunately for him, transforms into my Weavile, and he uses Fake Out, which in retrospect isn't the best idea for him because he is Choice Scarf. So though my Gardevoir does flinch, he's stuck in Fake Out. I switched my Gardevoir out in case of another Bug Buzz, while he tries to Fake Out again, which you can't use after the first turn. And I keep going for little Icicle Crashes on that that Volcarona. His Weavile isn't a threat, so I'm going to focus the Volcarona for the time being, while I go for another Icicle Crash, and then I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball, because I got a very lucky flinch, because without that flinch, I probably would have got Heat Waved and knocked out the Aegis Slash at least. I'm Focus Sash, so we do get the forfeit there because his Weavile really can't do anything else. Now, we do 3 different battles with Parasong teams. Now here's the first one. It's an example of what can go wrong and why you shouldn't, how you should maneuver certain teams. I'm in the top right corner for these next 3 battles. So he brings out his Charizard and his Venusaur, and I'm thinking Grass Pledge, Fire Pledge, so I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna have to try to stop that. I get Intimidate off because I was hoping for something different, but in retrospect, against that Bisharp is not the best idea to bring an Intimidator out from the start. I Fake Out his Charizard to stop any Heat Waves, while his Venusaur, I believe, goes for a Sludge Bomb, which really doesn't do that much to Scrafty, and I get my Parasong up, which is what the whole intent of this team is, to Parasong and try to make your opponent faint because of that. I go for the Double Protect here because it stalls a turn, and it's just the best idea when you're running a Parasong team. His Charizard goes for a Heat Wave, while his Venusaur goes for a Solar Beam, and you know the Sun, they can both Solar Beam freely. The Perish falls to 2, while I'm gonna switch. Do I switch up? No. He Solar Beams my Gengar, really doesn't do a lot. While I unfortunately go down to that Gengar, so that's just a bad start for me because my Gengar's already off, and despite the fact that I knock him a Citrus Berry, I'm already down a Pokemon. But all his Pokemon do perish in exactly 1 turn, which is pretty nice for me. So what I'm going to do is switch in the Rotom Wash while I protect the Gothitelle from any damage. Luckily for me, he doesn't Solar Beam the Scrafty, because the Scrafty spot, because I'm taking another Rotom Wash. So Heat Wave does a little bit of damage to Rotom Wash, but not enough, so the Parasong gets his first 2 victims, taking him right out. And here's where I kind of make a crucial mistake, because I want to intimidate that Landorus. But I kind of forgot about Bishop's ability, which is pretty dumb on my part. So I Intimidate and so I knock down the Bishop's attack and just boost it because of his Defiant, which is really dumb on my part. Takes out my Scrafty in 1 hit. I should have just Will-O-Wisp the Bisharp and kept the Gothitelle out for another turn. But even though my Rotom Wash does get Rock Slided, I do get that Will-O-Wisp off on the Landorus. But I now am standing against a Bisharp, which is boosted. So I'm going to protect my Gothitelle hoping he attacks it, but instead he attacks my Rotom Wash, which is the smart move because I already revealed I had Protect. Rotom Wash goes down, and despite the fact that even Landorus is burned, there's still that Bisharp on the field. So one simple knockoff is going to take out the Gothitelle in 1 hit. This is why you shouldn't bring your Intimidator out against a team that has a possible Bisharp or Melodic. Now, our luck kind of picks up here. We see a pretty cool team, honestly, of an Azumarill, Salamence, an Excadrill, a Clefable, a Tyranitar, and Virizion. And this is where I actually run the Parasong correctly in this battle. So we go against the Zoomerl and the Salamence. I'm predicting that the Zoomerl is gonna go for a belly drum, which is not exactly what I want. So I'm gonna fake out that a Zoomerl so it can't belly drum, while the Salamence goes for a double edge and does a lot of damage to Scrafty, but doesn't kill it, just short of killing it. So I get the perish off this time, as the Zoomerl's flinched, and what I'm gonna do is just go for the typical protect, because that can stall out, and even if he belly drums, I have a good idea of who to switch in mind. He hyper voices to no avail because Scrafty's protected and Mega Gengar's protected. He belly drums, he gets his attack boosted pretty high, because that's crazy high attack when the Zoomerl is belly drummed. So I know he's gonna try to Aqua Jet my Gengar, so I'm gonna switch out into Rotom, and I'm gonna switch into my Gothitelle to save Scrafty for later for me a free Intimidate. So even though it's boosted, Aqua Jet does little to nothing to my Rotom Wash. It actually activates my Citrus Berry and gets my health back, and does a little bit to Gothitelle. And since they only have one turn left to perish, I'm gonna double protect. I mean, this is the kind of the cheese of Perish Song because you have to protect a lot and annoy your opponent. That's how you're gonna have to win. So Azumarill tries to go for the Play Rough, and Salamence goes for Hyper Voice to nothing. And both of them are gonna go down to the Perish Song now, successfully taking out two of its opponents, while a Virizion and a Tyranitar are gonna come out next. Well, I know Tyranitar can be a threat, so I'm gonna actually switch in my Scrafty to at least get a 1 free Intimidate before it dies. I know it's gonna die, it's free bait to die. I let it get Leaf Bladed, but I dropped this attack, which is what I was personally aiming for. My Gothitelle gets crunched, and it does a nice amount of damage. And I get a free Psychic off on that Virizion, which nearly puts it in KO range, but leaves it with 20 health. I bring out the Mega Gengar. I'm thinking it's going to be faster than that Tyranitar, so if I disable, I can stop his Crunch. He actually goes for a Rock Polish, but I do disable his Crunch. So his Tyranitar is super fast now, but he can't use Crunch, which is one of the main moves it needed to use to kill both of my threats on the field. And here I'm going to try to get off a free Psychic with my Gothitelle. I get 2 HP left, while his Virizion goes for a Leaf Blade on my protected Gengar. And lucky for me, I get that Psychic off and take out his Virizion, leaving just a disabled Tyranitar on the field, while my Gothitelle goes down to that Sandstorm going on in the background. And here's where it's a good idea to probably get my Rotom Wash here to Will-O-Wisp, and luckily for me I do. Gengar unfortunately gets disabled. I was gonna probably, gets flinched. That's what Rock Slide does. But since his Gengar is disabled and burned, it's really, the Rock Slide's gonna do minuscule damage, but still, I get a second turn of flinching. The hacks are not in my favor. But now Tyranitar's Crunch is no longer protected, so I'm gonna, no longer disabled, so I'm gonna protect and go for a Hydro Pump on my Rotom Wash, which does an amazing amount of damage since it actually hit. Activates his weakness policy, but since he's burned, that is going to bring him right down, getting us a win with this Perish Song team. And then here's another battle with our Perish Song team, where we face an interesting team of a Torkoal, a Jinx, a Scizor, I believe it's Mega, a Politoed, a Vaporeon, and an Armaldo. Pretty cool team. And I'm going to bring out my Dewgong and Gengar, which is a pretty nice lead. I don't need to bring out any Intimidate support from Scrafty. I'm going to fake out that Jinx, because Jinx sometimes has some odd moves, like Lovely Kiss and other things that can confuse me and whatnot, while his Torkoal goes for a Skull Bash, raising his defense, but he can't really attack for a turn, which is kind of nice for me. So a double protect would actually be good here, so that Skull Bash can't hit anyone, and he wasted a turn. The skill swap isn't going to take down my Gengar, and the Skull Smash is going to hit nothing. Though he does have some boosted defense, but no one on the field right now is really a physical attacker, exactly. So his Torkoal protects, while the Jinx gets off a successful Shadow Tide, which screws up my, my strategy a little bit, because I was going to try to Encore that Torkoal into the Skull Bashes, but now my Dewgong is stuck because of his Shadow Tag, but Gengar's a Ghost, so Ghosts can always freely switch in and out of Shadow Tag. I bring in my Gothitelle, though he does get to switch out his Torkoal. His Jinx is still there and goes for a Struggle onto my Gothitelle, and I just set up another Perish Song, even though the the Jinx and the Dugong are gonna go down because I could have switched the Dugong out. So both of these two are gonna go down, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it doesn't put us in a completely bad position. So his Politoed and Scizor are gonna come on out. He's gonna Mega that thing, while I'm gonna protect with Gothitelle, and I'm gonna cross my fingers, hope that it can't attack me first, because I don't think anything's faster than me, and I get a Perish Song off. And now everyone perishes in 3. But since Dugong did do a perish beforehand, Politoed and Gothitelle are going to perish in 2 versus Scizor and Gengar perishing in 3 turns. I switch out the Gothitelle to bring in my Scrafty to get me a little bit of Intimidate to stop the threat of Scizor with a Swords Dance, because that's pretty powerful. I stop him from another Swords Dance, but he goes for an X Scizor, which does a little bit of damage. It really doesn't do that much to my Gengar. I feel like a Bullet Punch or something would have done a lot more to my Gengar. Politoed's going to continue to spam its Icy Winds, which lowers my speed, but the reason why I switched to Scrafty is so that I could do a Fake Out on that Scizor, Mega Scizor, and it stops it from doing any damage to my Scrafty, because an X Scizor would actually hurt Scrafty. He gets the Scald Burn, but Lumberry is what I run on this Scrafty, so in case of the burns, because everyone seems to try to burn the Scrafty. His Politoed goes down to the Perish, and I'm going to switch my Gengar out in case of, I don't want to faint, but I switch right into an X Scizor, and it does take down my Scizor, it does take down my Gothitelle, but his Scizor goes down to the Perish this turn as well, which is fine with me because it leaves me with a Scrafty and a Gengar against a Torkoal. The Torkoal's going to protect, which is fine. It doesn't really affect the outcome of the game because I'm still 2 up, and the Torkoal can't do too much. It can't hit me with its Body Slam or anything. I get a Shadow Ball off on the Torkoal. He goes for a Skull Bash, raising his defense, which is actually going to help him out. And I get a Drain Punch, getting a little bit of health back, not that much. But Gengar is faster than a Torkoal in any means. And that is enough to take down that Torkoal, and it was an interesting match, but just shows sometimes the Perish Song, if ran correctly, even in different turn increments, can do really well. Alright, well that's going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe for more content, and let me know if you ever want to battle. Alright, thanks.